All right, well, let's turn to our special guest tonight. We're going to go out to Provo for this one. He is the head coach of the BYU Cougars. Mark Pope joins us on Field of 68 After Dark. 7-0 BYU will be back in action tomorrow night when they take on Evansville. Coach Pope, a 7-0 start. We appreciate you joining us. I got to ask you, what did you see in your team in the preseason that all of us and all the other coaches and everybody else in America did not see with this Cougars team?
Well, we only had one preseason game, and we weren't very good, so I'm not sure I saw a lot.
Okay.
Fanta, are you familiar with the Mark Pope story that I have that I tell people all the time?
Oh boy!
This is Randolph. You appreciate this, right? So I'm pretty good. I've been pretty good friends with a couple people who have coached at BYU, and one of them, okay, happened to be the head coach at UNLV for a bit of time, right? And I thought it was his name's Dave Rice, right? So Dave Rice.
I have no idea where this is going right now.
No,
he's sitting over there nervous, like, wait a minute, where is this going?
Hold on. So
neither do we.
I'd fly into Vegas. I was doing UNLV games, and I would text Dave Rice, "Hey, coach, I'm in town to do the game. Mind if I come up before the game?" And also I get a no problem. Come on up. And I go up there and I'd see Dave Rice, and I was like, I texted you. You didn't know I told you I was coming. He's like, what are you talking about? So finally, at some point in time, Mark texted me back like, hey, just a heads up. Dave. They gave me Dave's number. You keep texting me. And then it got to the point where I'm sure he was annoyed by it. Like, we're in the middle of a meeting. This is not Dave's phone. Anyway, sorry about that, Mark. I apologize.
No, I remember now. Yes. That was a long time before.
It was. I guess here's my question. Obviously, last year in the WCC, a bit of a struggle, right? I think people expected you guys to be right there with Gonzaga. You had to rework things, and it's harder to rework things at BYU than it is some of these other places. They can just scrap it and start over. Take me through the process of putting together your roster and how you did it.
Well, so we this is our 5th year, if you can believe that. We had a ton of success our first 3 years. We finished 2 years in the top 25. We're ranked in the top 25 all 3 years at some point during the season, and we still felt like we were a million miles away from kind of reaching our goal. And we also knew 2 years ago that we were moving to this Big 12, and so we kind of made the conscious decision that last year we were going to go really young. I think we were the 296th most veteran team in college basketball last year, which is rare for BYU. And we decided we'd go really young so that we could walk into this league at least having a team that we were familiar with, that had a chance to grow together. And so, we signed a couple kids in the portal that I think are really good. I think this Ali Khalifa is going to turn into a terrific player, and I think Dawson Baker is going to be a terrific player. We just haven't had their services very much so far. And so it's essentially the same roster we had last year. It's just a roster that instead of being freshmen and sophomores, it's sophomores and juniors. And they paid their dues last year. They had some big wins. We beat Creighton in Vegas. We had a great comeback against Dayton last year. We lost to St. Mary's and Gonzaga both on last-second shots at home, literally just heartbreaking last-second shots last year. And that's what happens when you have freshmen and sophomores. But those guys aren't freshmen and sophomores anymore. They have a ton of minutes under their belt together. They've worked really hard. We took full advantage of our foreign tour this summer for those guys to even grow closer together. And right now, early in the season, guys, we're so early, right? It's so early, but our really early returns have been super positive. And I think the best thing, we're fortunate to be 7-0, but even if we were 5-2, what I feel like is our guys know who we're trying to be. Like, our guys understand the identity we're chasing, and that means a lot for us. And it also means that, we're walking into this buzzsaw of the Big 12, and I don't think Vegas is betting on anybody going undefeated, but I do think that come wins or losses, we're going to still have a good sense of like who we're trying to beat. And I think that's really important. I know that sounds simple, guys, but I don't think that's super common in college basketball about a team that really knows who they're trying to be. Just my own opinion.
Mark, what can you complain about with your team right now? I mean, there's not much you complain about. Your team is unselfish. I mean, you got so many guys. You got 6 guys in double figures. I mean, and then the 7th guy averaging 9 points, 2-to-1 assist ratio. You've been dominating the glass, defending the 3-point line well, shooting it well, 39%, 49, 50% almost from the floor. Like, what do you see from your team that you feel like you need to improve on when you get into conference play?
Well, the first thing is I'd like to be healthy. Like I'd like to be healthy. You know, it was interesting. We have what I think is a really interesting collection of bigs in Fus Traore and Ali Atiki Ali and Ali Khalifa. Really unique pieces. In fact, I'd like to spend some time, especially in the Big 12, having 2 of those guys on the floor together. We just can't keep those guys healthy right now. And so that's we just haven't, we kind of missed our window to really experiment freely. I'll be excited when we have all 3 of those guys going. So I'm excited about that. And this Dawson Baker is a really important piece to our puzzle. He brings a really different dynamic to our team. So we'd like to get those guys healthy first and foremost. Otherwise, I think what we're trying to do right now is just get better in all the areas that we've been pretty successful in so far. Clearly the competition is going to keep ratcheting up. And so we'd like to continue to be as consistent as we can and keep improving in each of the areas that you mentioned, actually.
You got any eligibility left?
Hey, I was no good when I was playing, bro. Like, the one great thing about getting old is everyone thinks you were a better player than you were. I was terrible, man.
No question. No question. What Jackson Robinson
I was no Randolph Childress, man. I coached 1 year at Wake with Jeff Bizdella.
I know you did.
I walk around that campus, people would be like, Randolph Childress. Like, you couldn't, it was one of those names where you can't actually say it out loud. Everyone kind of whispered it, like Randolph Childress. Like,
I think there should be a statue.
And that's because when they followed it up with, they'll be like, "Did he owe you some money or anything?" That's probably what they were thinking.
No. Was it Touche McGinnis you made fall down and told him to get up?
Yeah.
Is that who that was?
Yeah.
There should be a statue of that, right on campus. Hey, let me ask you about Jackson Robinson, right?
Yeah.
2-time transfer, didn't play much at either of his previous schools. And you look at last year, and good player, good athlete, but the shooting percentages from the field and 3 have jumped up. Obviously, the production's way up.
Yeah.
What was your guys' work with him like in the offseason that's allowed him to have such a great start?
Yeah, I'm so proud of Jax, man. His road has not been easy. Nobody's road in college is easy, but his road has not been easy. He was essentially, he'd been in college for 2 years, but essentially in terms of on-game experience was much closer to a freshman than he was a junior last year. He just hadn't really ever played, and certainly played in the role that we were asked him to play. We actually were starting him at the 4 last year because we were trying to piece together our roster a little bit. And he got a ton of experience last year. And the best part of Jax was he came in as soon as the season was over and had unbelievable focus all summer long. And his focus wasn't just on skill. His focus was on kind of learning the urgency of the game. His focus was on building relationships with his teammates. We had a bunch of guys that worked really hard this summer, like going out of their way to really grow relationships with their teammates. He worked really hard at having a bigger voice on the floor. One of the places we struggled last year as a young team was communication. It's one of the spaces where we are elite right now. We're functioning elite level with real-time communication, and Jax has been a leader in that area. And with all that has come unbelievable performance. He's shooting the ball. He's guarding. He's got he's barely scratching the surface of what he can do defensively. And most exciting for me is he's one of these guys like, hey, I don't care. Start me, bring me off the bench. I don't care. I'm just going to go dominate my minutes. And it's a luxury to have beautiful human beings on your roster like that.
All right, Mark, we have 1 minute here, so I'm putting you on the spot. What was it like being a captain on a Rick Pitino coached Kentucky team?
Yeah. Woo! I'll tell you what. Listen, I can tell you this, and I walked out of practice most days trying to decide who I hated more, Coach P or myself. And he put us through the gauntlet, man. Like he drove me harder than any human being's ever driven me before. And I love him to the depths of my soul because he literally changed my DNA as a human being. I walk in a room different after going through with Coach P. He gave me one of the greatest gifts of my lifetime in terms of teaching us that we could overcome anything and withstand anything. It's a beautiful gift that coaches can give. It's a little bit different how it functions now, but I love him from the depths of my soul, man. Love that team and had one of the great experiences of all time with that kid.
I do want to ask you, I know we got to go, okay? But in terms of the conditioning aspect of it, can you still do that?
Hey, we were practicing 3 times a day. Like during winter break,
I know. Like, look,
we had 2 team
for
practices.
People don't know, he makes his assistants get in shape.
Yeah.
Like, they get their body. They get tested.
They get body fat
Guys,
tests.
You do not understand the stories I got about Coach P, man. Legend.
Mark Pope, congratulations on a 7-0 start. It's great to see the BYU Cougars off to such a strong start to the season. And we wish you the best of luck here going forward. Good luck against Evansville and in the gauntlet of the Big 12. We appreciate your time, Mark. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Doug. Thanks, Randolph.
All right, man. Have a good one. Good luck, Coach.